So we have all this duality in consciousness playing itself out in all these different areas of consciousness and of our reality, right? You have the higher and the lower self. You have the male female dichotomy. You have black and white. You have nature, organic life, organic consciousness. And then you have this this alternate reality that has been created where we have genetically modified trees and genetically modified fish and genetically modified flowers and fruit. For what? If God gave us the commandment to be fruitful and multiply, do we think that God wouldn't hold up its end? Collective consciousness, the Lord of all lords, you know, the one, the Elohim, source energy, whatever you want to call it. We think that God wouldn't hold up its end of the bargain, telling you to be fruitful and multiply, but not continue to make sure that our planet and our experience here is fruitful and multiplying. This is why there's so much, you know, going back to the co-creator aspect, this is why there's so much suffering and stress and anxiety in the world, because we are supposed to be creating and we're doing anything but. And that again goes back to this is way bigger than just reproducing yourself and having children. That's why it's so difficult for me to have a conversation with most men or male identified mindset in this world. I shouldn't say most men because that's an overstatement. Many men that have limited women and our perspectives and our reasons for being here, goals and aspirations to having children and, which I'm a mother. Trust me, there's no greater reward an expansive way of extending yourself, challenging yourself, the ability to strategize and to put another strategize and to uh you know put another human being before yourself, what that entails, the level of sacrifice is the word I was looking for. But we're supposed to be expanding consciousness, being fruitful and multiplying your mind. So the duality now, living in this scarce world, in this lack based consciousness where people are arguing about breast milk. And then people are yelling back and arguing that everybody can't produce breast milk. So now the pros and the cons are all kind of, standing in the same corner together. Y'all look the same to me. Yes, it's true, all women can't produce breast milk. But if we're going to have that conversation, it can't just be a statement in passing and then, why can't all women produce breast milk? What type of food are you eating? What's your hormonal balance look like? What's your vibrational countenance? If you eat genetically modified food, which if you're eating fast food, you are eating genetically modified food on a consistent basis, we should expect that it would be genetically modifying your body. Why would your original organism be producing original minerals and nutrition and all the best things that the physical body is able to produce when you're putting garbage in it every day? Not to mention breathing in toxins and drinking fluoridated water and all of the insanity that comes with living in this reality. So, yeah, if you're not paying attention, things could be difficult for you. Scarcity of breast milk when the physical body produces milk. I mean, if that isn't the biggest sort of, you know, if you could picture a scene of God and the devil or Satan, Lucifer, whatever you're most comfortable with, lower self, lower nature, low vibrational energy, low vibrational consciousness, wickedness, evil, whatever you're comfortable with, on a hilltop duking it out. And in the Bible, it talks about how, the devil is kind of laughing a little bit at God, like, I didn't promise them anything. And they came. Scarcity of water when our planet is 75% water. Imagine that. I've been juggling that one for like 15 years now, since I was in my urban planning and development class, and we were talking about water scarcity 15 years ago in college, and I was like, how is that even possible? Then of course you have water treatment facilities and all that stuff, but this world hasn't been seeking a way to organically and inexpensively learn how to treat water to be able to provide clean, fresh water for all 8 billion people on our planet. We know they haven't because they chart the water industry as a whole, probably $1 trillion industry, from bottled water to alkaline water to water filtration systems to you actually paying the water, your water bill to have clean, fresh water in your home. It's fluoridated, but it's better than taking a bath in mud. But I would definitely not recommend using tap water to drink or to cook at this point. I'm very skeptic and untrustworthy of everything that these people are doing. Everything. And you should be too. So when there's a new mass shooting so perfectly timed. How are they always timed so perfectly? Y'all worried about race soldiers. This conversation now is bigger than race soldiers. We're talking about being able to activate people with a push of a button. Yeah, they have the technology. Yeah, the technology is in that shit they put in people's arms. More on that soon. That's why I'm excited about being able to put this content up on my site so that my supporters, I can actually put all the information out there that I feel like we need to be armed with in order to bring the kingdom of God in. Studying the darkness, observing the darkness, understanding the agenda, not from a place of weakness or fear, but of power. I see you. Get thee behind me, Satan. Whether it's the Satan sitting at the top of the pyramid calling the shots, or the little minion at the bottom of the pyramid typing in all caps in text messages on DMs and sending me, you know, sexual imagery and videos. Yeah, you too. Y'all protesting global warming and climate change, and they're spraying poison in the sky every day to block the sun away from our planet. Abortion marches and fear and anger and outrage when there's a mass campaign of sterilization happening right in front of our faces. I'm trying to be careful with how I talk, but it's all good. If they take it down, it'll just go up on my website. Yeah, there's a mass sterilization campaign happening right now. You didn't know? How is that possible? You have access to all of this technology and all of this information. Complaining about food shortages when in my Kingdom Within video, that's going to be up soon. I'm working on it. I show a video of a lettuce head, a romaine lettuce head. When you cut the head off, cut the full lettuce off and the head, only the head, the root is left. You put it in a bowl of water, and within a couple of days, a whole entire lettuce will grow back. It doesn't even need soil. This is why they hate God, because how is it possible that everything could be so plentiful? How is it possible that you can take one seed from a watermelon and plant and replenish that seed and it will grow 100 or 1,000 more watermelons? Considering the new watermelons produce new seeds and those seeds produce new watermelon, etc. It's a replica of be fruitful and multiply. Everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. The sun, okay, be fruitful and multiply. I'm going to shine light. I'm going to keep the rotation taking place. I'm going to keep the plants growing. I'm going to keep the melanin production within the human being, or at least try. I'm going to keep the water system through rain functioning, and the summer system through sun and heat and lack of rain functioning, and the duality of winter, where some days there is no sun and other days the sun comes back through to maintain the balance and the infrastructure of how everything is supposed to work. What would a seed be without the sun? What would the moon be without the sun? Everything's being fruitful and multiplying itself, not only on a physical level, but also on a mental and spiritual and emotional level. There's nothing more soothing to the soul and to calm your mind and your internal awareness than going to the beach and sitting out in the sun and letting the wind flow through your hair and touch you and grab you and connect to you, and to help you realize that it's not as serious as you think it is. There's more at play here. But going back to my point, psychological warfare, protesting mass shootings when they're killing people every day. Black people, I'm just, we are so behind the eight ball when it comes to understanding the games, the mind manipulation, the psychological abuse, the trauma, the terror. Y'all are upset, fake upset, I don't know, chaos, outrage, I don't know, jury's still out. But when they were forcing these inoculations on our children, not a peep. This is a fake, false sense of consciousness. The algorithm is dictating consciousness now. So in the beginning there was the word, and our reality, and this third dimensional reality was created from an abstract place. There was no projection happening. There was no men who hate women creating the universe, or women who hate men creating the universe, and cultivating and shaping and fashion what our reality would be. It was pure consciousness, pure love, frequency, and energy that evolved itself to become what we see now. But then, of course, the higher self expanded and went in one direction, and the lower self expanded and went in one direction. And what I don't know if I completed my thought earlier, but when I was talking about harnessing energy, imagine the energy that satanic elements or forces was able to harness during a 400 or 500 year trajectory of mass suffering, chaos, and pain, i.e., the enslavement of African people around the world. You talk about pedophilia, you talk about rape, you talk about sex trafficking. So the world is going to have to be a witness to its own downfall, because you allowed it to happen. You still allowing it to happen. Still allowing it to happen to children every day. And it's not just in elite Hollywood mansions with underground bunkers. That shit's happening in the hood every single day, and we turn a blind eye to it. So you protesting and upset about a mass shooting when thousands of people are dying at the hands of this agenda. And I'm not just talking about what they put in people's arms, destroying businesses. Remember, be fruitful and multiply, expand your mind. That's the way God called it. What does Satan do? Close businesses for no reason. A sister that I know, that I have a lot of respect and love for, put up a post the other day and said, she's got cancer and people are wearing masks, and it's making, she was frustrated that people aren't being more precautionary with, the sickness that everybody seems to be, having at one point or another. It's not what you think it is, but more on that later. the kingdom within. So she's using her public platform and has a large number of followers and promoting something that is very dangerous and detrimental to people's health. I told you guys, I've been saying for the last 2 years, there's going to be a mass uptick in sickness because breath is life. That's the one thing above all things that matters more that you can't do without oxygen, breath. They got you walking around arguing for your sickness, arguing for tools and methodologies that are going to keep you weak. And they got you believing it because they said it on CNN. The algorithm is dictating consciousness now. Whereas before, you know, what I was talking about in Let There Be Light, right? In the beginning was the word. We're talking about creating consciousness, creating reality from an abstract space. But now, whereas what you focus on expands, when you observe something, it's aware that you're observing it and it becomes what you expect it to be. It tethers itself to the energy and intention of whatever the thought process is, right? That's the organic, natural law way. Well, now consciousness is being created through the algorithm. One day, y'all mad about abortion rights. It's not just the anti abortion people, it's the pro abortion. The whole, if you're anti or pro, you're in it. You're a part of the chaos. Everybody. So on Monday, you're arguing about abortion rights, pro or con. On Tuesday, you're arguing about mass shootings and highlighting the fact that there was a, Black Lives Matter hashtag on the gun. And like you're going down the rabbit hole of a story that's not going to take you anywhere because it's the same thing they've been doing for the past 20 years consistently. I mean, the timing of it. How you guys can't see this is bewildering to me. Third eye thoughts. Monday, abortion protests. Tuesday, white supremacy protests. Wednesday, we're back to Ukraine. Thursday, what's happening in the Johnny Depp trial. Friday, Diddy's hosting an award show. Saturday, the playoffs. Sunday, NFL draft. It's so clear to me now. And this whole song and dance has been constructed and strategized and changed and manipulated and evolved over the course of the last 30 plus years. It's a real part of your reality now. What would humanity do without the NBA? Where would all that vicarious living and satisfaction and its excitement that you pour into a game outside of yourself, where would that energy transmute to? According to universal law, it would put you back in a space of being fruitful and multiplying, because that's what LeBron James is doing, at least from a financial perspective. Being fruitful and multiplying, taking his skill set and his talents and building a world for himself and his family and his legacy. Most of the people who are watching him, who hang on to his every word, know all of his statistics, his whole career trajectory, are not. The algorithm is dictating consciousness. We're already in the artificial simulation of the simulation. And most people will never question the difference. So you have these two elements of yourself now coexisting in these different space-time dispensations. You'll watch me or you'll listen to me on this video. You'll hear the frequency of my words. Most of my followers I know will tune into this. This is my preferred type of content. This is what I want to hear your really want to hear your perspectives about. I really don't care about all that other stuff. Even the recent videos I've had to do, and now they're taking on a life of their own. I'm already past that. I'm operating in fifth dimensional reality. But I also have to still deal in this third dimensional reality because I do have a son and I am concerned with the world that he's going to inherit, beyond making sure that he can eat 3 meals a day until he's, ready to take on 1 meal a day. It has a safe roof over his head. I have an investment in this world. I have a connection to this world. I have concern for Mother Nature. Most of us as a collective consciousness do not. And that's where the power is. Imagine that. Because nature is always reminding you it's going to be dark tonight, but tomorrow the sun's going to come up again. Yes, the tree is dying, but the roots will do what they're supposed to do during the winter season and hibernate and pull nutrition from other resources and multiply the rain and multiply the sun and the photosynthesis process. Yes, nature is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Go sit under a oak tree and and get a download if you can stay off Instagram for 10 minutes. Take a walk without your phone. Learning how to quiet yourself and center yourself is how you get the downloads, the spiritual downloads from the creator. This is a war on the mind. So what's our responsibility? To sharpen our minds. This is psychological warfare. So what's our responsibility? To be psychologically astute, to have discernment, to be able to see things and your third eye automatically kick in and know it's a lie. Did you go back and somebody I responded to a message today. This is jaded. Did you go back and listen to all of Kevin Samuel's videos? This is not a full perspective. Hell no. Why would I ever subject something myself to something that makes me feel triggered? Black women don't know how to listen to themselves. Shut up. I've been trying to, first of all, with myself, focusing on being accountable to me, to my higher self, to my inner being, to my goals and aspirations. Put the world on the back burner. That's how I've been operating in this social media space for 13 years. So why wouldn't I be mass reproducing that same recipe for myself into the minds and the hearts of girls in particular and women who follow my content? But why would I subject myself to something that makes me feel inferior or less than or frustrated or angry or disrespected? That's insanity. For us to be such conscientious beings, which we are, no matter what level we're operating on, if you have the mentality to pick up a remote control and turn on the television, there's something operating correctly in your body. It's still taking notes, still taking orders, and your cells are taking orders too. Your cellular whole neurological infrastructure, the muscular system, the cardiovascular system, everything within your body is consistently taking instructions and orders from you. So when you're locked in the lack-based consciousness frequency, your muscular system is taking orders from a lack-based consciousness. Your neurological system is taking orders from a lack-based consciousness. You wearing a face mask worried about getting sick, it's making you sick because your cells are taking orders. She's afraid. There's something to be afraid of on the horizon. Let's cover down. Not in protection mode, but in fear mode. So you're reproducing sickness in yourself. And then turning around and telling the rest of the world that that's what you should be doing too. And I'm not talking about anyone personal right now. I'm talking about what's happening on a grand scale, the collective consciousness. Everybody's operating in fear and multiplying and reproducing fear. And businesses are being started or ended based on fear. The whole conversation about digital currency is being operated from a perspective of fear and lack-based consciousness. Oh, this is the wave of the future. You better get on it or you're going to get left behind. That's lack-based consciousness. I just told you a head of lettuce, romaine lettuce, if you put it in a bottle in a bowl of water, it will reproduce itself. Why are you trying to make people feel like worry about not having? We got to change the dimension and the way that we are approaching life. All of our conversation is based on lack, worry, fear, frustration, and I get it because I'm paying attention. I'm not just paying attention to the spiritual metaphysics community. I'm not just paying attention to the low vibrational lack based consciousness. I'm not just paying attention to the quote unquote powers that be sitting at the top of the pyramid. Where is God in all of this? We've got this powerful know all, be all entity that everybody's been praising: Muhammad, Buddha, Allah, the Orishas, the Neteru, Voodoo, all these different reflections of Christ consciousness, savior complex, savior consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Well, how is it that the world is in so much turmoil if there's a grand designer on the scene? The grand designer is experiencing third dimensional reality through you. And I think it's safe to say that there's displeasure, and that's a projection. But in third dimensional reality, I have the right to look at pedophilia and say that's wrong, to look at rape culture and say that's wrong, to look at the mean spirited, disrespectful way that humanity carries itself and treats one another and say that's wrong. On a spiritual level, people will say, well, God, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, in the ethers, but I came here to play the real game. I didn't come here to sit on the sidelines and watch suffering and not do my part to raise the consciousness. To see science being manipulated and chemistry being manipulated and biology and human anatomy and human consciousness and our power that we all innately have that has been stripped from all of us. I didn't come to sit on the sideline and watch Satan turn up on my planet. You'll never question which side I was on. My son will never say I didn't use my voice and my platform to bring awareness, to assist people, to raise the vibration, to raise the consciousness. I'm being fruitful and multiplying myself. Thank you very much. Expanding consciousness, not only when I'm doing videos, but when I'm sitting down and reading books. So I'm harnessing the energy of the creator. That's why I'm here having this conversation with you. Because I'm not trying to multiply the insanity and the savagery and the arguing and the disrespect and the low vibrational frequency and nature of everything that's happening on the chaos. I'm not here to magnify that frequency. That's why I can only talk about certain subjects one, maybe two times, and that's it. That's all you're going to get from me. Because I'm looking for God. I'm looking for a frequency, a feeling of freedom, of peace of mind. Y'all can have the chaos because the chaos is planned to increase substantially. Are you spiritually and mentally and emotionally hibernating right now and storing your energy and recycling your energy, learning how to be in this world, live in this world, and not of it? ZaZaAli.com is my website. Info at ZaZaAli is my email address if you want to contact me to work with me. And I will put the link to access workshops, to access books and all of my merchandise. Thank you so much to all of you beautiful souls that support me, that purchase my books, that send love offerings. I don't even want to call it a donation because it's reciprocal. Um, and for giving me your time and your energy, sitting down and listening to my thoughts and perspective on the world. Peace and love.